Many strong women are incredibly capable of handling challenges. They solve problems, manage responsibilities, and stay composed under pressure. But when difficult emotions arise, emotions like fear, shame, or disappointment, many women quietly struggle with what to do. You might notice moments when something happens in a relationship, either at work or in your personal life, and suddenly an uncomfortable emotion just takes you over. Part of you may want to move past it quickly so that you can stay strong and productive. But in order to do that, you need to analyze it, you explain it, you feel a sense of urgency, maybe to fix the situation, or you just simply push that feeling aside and just shut it down. If we haven't met, I'm Judy K. Katz, and I'm a transformational coach and spiritual mentor. And for over 30 years, I've worked with women who want to move beyond survival patterns and live from a deeper, more authentic self. What I've discovered, many women don't realize that the very emotions they try hardest to avoid are actually the doorway to their deepest transformation. In this video, we're going to explore why strong women often struggle with difficult emotions and why those emotions are not obstacles at all. While they may certainly seem like it though, right? They're actually gateways to transformation. Most high-achieving women learned early in life how to be strong. Strength meant solving problems, staying composed, moving forward, and maintaining control. But emotions are not problems to solve. They're signals from your inner world. When emotions arise, they are asking for your awareness. And the truth is, they carry an important message. You can kind of think of it like the gas gauge in your car. Your gas gauge tells you how much fuel you have. And then when the gas gauge gets close to empty, the gauge moves into that red zone to let you know something needs attention. Well, our emotions work in a very similar way. When our fear-based survival identity has perceived a threat, and that's based on the meaning and the interpretations from our beliefs, an emotional warning shows up. And the truth is that your emotions are an internal gauge to the deeper meaning that you have of the situation, not to the actual situation itself. And those interpretations, they will produce emotions like fear and anger and resentment, shame or guilt. Those emotions are like the red zone on your gas gauge. They're signals that something inside your belief system has been activated based on your past and not on what's possible. But you see, many women were never taught how to safely feel difficult emotions. So instead of paying attention to the message, they unintentionally develop ways to avoid them. Like, you might reflect on your own situation and see if any of these apply to you. Like, you stay busy, or you might analyze what's happened and just remain in your head. Or you try to fix the situation very quickly. Or you just override the emotion and just push forward. And from the outside, this can look like strength and determination, but internally, those emotions are going to remain rejected and unresolved. And then over time, you're going to begin to run on empty and you're just going to get exhausted. In my work, I teach that emotions follow a natural pathway. You have something happens, and then your belief system presents an interpretation, and then that interpretation creates an emotion, and it quickly arises, and then that emotion sparks a survival behavior, either from your fight, flight, or freeze part of your brain. And that reaction is what influences the outcomes that you get. If that emotion is allowed to, however, move through awareness and acceptance, the energy is just going to release, and then we interrupt that habit pattern. And then we can begin to relate to it rather than from it. And this brings all new insights, and it expands our energy. It's like filling up your gas tank. But when we avoid the emotion, the pattern continues to repeat, and it eventually drains our energy. So if you're wondering, why does it keep repeating? Well, repeats because you're feeding it your power of belief by letting it run you. It's a survival habit pattern. And as we are all familiar, habits do tend to repeat themselves until they're changed, right? And so this is why emotions are not something to fear at all. They're your brilliant energy gauge. They're your gateways to transformation. When we begin to understand them and then we meet them with compassion instead of resistance, something remarkable begins to change. You might reflect on your own experience. Are there emotions that you've learned to push away because they once felt just too painful to face? And if so, believe me, you're not alone, and it's not your fault. Those emotions may be pointing you toward the very transformation that you've been seeking. So in the next few videos in my emotional awareness series, Gateways to Transformation, we're going to explore something incredibly important. How emotions like fear and shame and guilt and anger are all connected to the identity patterns that shape our lives, and how learning to feel those emotions safely begins to dissolve the patterns that keep us stuck. Because when we stop seeing our emotions as the enemy, they begin to guide us toward the transformation that we seek. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to begin feeling difficult emotions in a way that is safe and gentle and surprisingly freeing. Because when emotions are allowed to move through compassionate awareness, they often release far more easily than we can expect. So if this has resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And also, I've placed the previous video in this series right here, so you can just click on that and go right to that video. And I also have a free guide, The Roadmap to Freedom, if you'd like to have a deeper understanding of this part of yourself. And I've just put the link in the title description below. So again, remember, difficult emotions are not obstacles. Very often, they are the doorway to a deeper transformation. And also, just know, you are a spiritual being having a human experience, and indeed a treasure to behold. So until next time, bye for now.